My name is Lydia Holloway, and I'm 29 years old. Tonight, I'm seated at the head of a table for 8 beneath a chandelier that turns everything the color of expensive honey. The room hums with money. Waiters in jackets that cost more than rent, crystal that chimes when you breathe too hard, a Cabernet that will add another $300 to a bill everyone assumes I'll pay. Oh. Arthur, my father, swirls his glass like a man who believes gravity should flatter him. His Brooks Brothers suit still fits. His silver hair still performs. What doesn't perform, and hasn't for 5 years, is a paycheck. "How's the market treating you, Lydia?" he asks. The question isn't about me. It's about his mortgage. "It's fine," I say. The word lands like a coin in a slot machine that never pays out. Dad knows "how's the market" is code for "when's my next check?" My mother, Eleanor, rests a diamond tennis bracelet on white linen the way a person might rest a hand on a Bible. Ceremonial, performative. She's 58 and country club beautiful. Refreshed highlights, the kind of smooth skin you can only buy. "Did I mention Chloe and Spencer finally found the perfect venue?" she says lightly, eyes already on me. There it is, the real reason we're here. Chloe, 25 and gleaming, raises her left hand and lets the chandelier catch her engagement ring. 3 carats, because Spencer Davenport III never learned the word modest. "It's this 16th century villa in Tuscany," Chloe gushes. "Vineyard views, a private chef. It's perfect." Spencer nods with the serene blandness of a man born in first class who thinks turbulence is a rumor. My brother Julian sits beside his wife Maya. He's 32 and the family's free spirit, which is code for escaped. They exchange a glance that looks like 2 people choosing kindness. "The resort is divine," my mother continues. "They just need the $15,000 deposit to hold the date." She smiles. Precise. Practiced. "I'll send you the wire information." Silence lands. Even the waiter carrying bread senses it and pivots away. I take a sip of water. It tastes like ceremony. "Actually," I say, "I can't swing $15,000 right now. I'm building my emergency fund." The quiet that follows is total. Spencer stares at his napkin as if it holds a map out of here. Julian's eyebrows climb. Chloe's smile trembles at the edges. My father laughs, a short, barking sound that makes nearby tables look up. "Savings?" he snorts. "Your job is to earn." He leans forward, dropping his voice to the register that taught my stomach to clench before I learned algebra. "How does it feel to be the only useless ATM here?" The table, minus Julian and Maya, chuckles on cue, as if cruelty were wit and I were its favorite target. My chest floods with heat and then, strangely, with a coolness that feels like a window opening. In my mind, I am 10, sitting at the dining table while my mother deals out our roles like tarot. Julian is the free spirit, ruffle his hair. Chloe is the beauty, kiss her cheek. And me? "You," she says, smiling as if she's giving me a gift, "are the smart one, our retirement plan." The cards stay on the table for 2 decades. Then I'm 24, a junior analyst still paying off student loans, answering a call that sounds like a hospital corridor. "Lydia?" my mother whispers. "If we lose this house, the stress will kill me. My life is in your hands." I offered to cover the mortgage, temporarily. That was 5 years ago. Something inside me, worn thin and then honed to an edge by 3 months of therapy, finally gives way. It doesn't break, it straightens. "You're right, Dad," I say, setting down my fork. "A useless ATM should be out of service." The laughter dies. Chloe blinks. Eleanor's smile freezes. "Lydia, don't be dramatic," she hisses. "You're embarrassing us." I pull out my phone. My hands are steady. First, I'm canceling the $4,000 mortgage payment scheduled for Monday. I tap. Done. Silence sizzles. Next, I'm blocking both of your numbers from my transfer apps. Tap. Done. My mother goes paper white. My father goes the color of raw anger. I place my corporate card on the linen. "This covers my steak and 1 glass of wine," I say quietly. "The rest is on you." Arthur shoves back his chair, napkin tumbling. "You ungrateful, after everything we've done for you." "What have you done?" I stand too, finding out I'm taller than I've ever felt. "I paid for my Ivy League. I've been paying your mortgage. I paid for the emergencies that were never emergencies." I look at each face. Chloe's confusion calibrates to resentment. Spencer looks relieved he wasn't asked. Julian looks like an apology. He can't yet speak. I'm done. I walk. The soft tap of my heels on marble sounds like punctuation. Outside, the night air tastes like yes. In the Uber, my phone vibrates itself frantic. Eleanor, you'll kill me. Is that what you want? Call me now. Arthur, you will fix this. The tantrum ends today. Chloe, you've ruined everything. The venue won't hold the date. I stare at the screen, breathing through the aftershocks. A new notification. Julian, are you okay? That was incredible. I read it twice. My brother has never chosen me in a fight with our parents. Tiny warmth unspools in my chest. Another message lights up. Daniel, home safe? Want me to bring soup or silence? You choose. I smile without meaning to. His steadiness doesn't try to steer me. It makes room. In the morning, I call in sick and wear jeans instead of armor. On the walk to Mark Wilson's office, New York feels louder and also cleaner. I've delayed this for 5 years. Counting, totaling, naming. Lydia, Mark says when I arrive, concern edging professional neutrality. Your message sounded urgent. I need a full audit, I say. Every dollar that left my accounts in the last 5 years, all of it. 2 hours later, my future sits on his monitor as rows and totals. The number at the bottom glows like a malignant star. $350,000. That doesn't include dinners, gifts, random rescues, just transfers and payments to anything named Holloway. My throat scrapes around the whisper. 350. Mark's jaw tightens. There's more. He clicks to a new tab. I pulled your credit reports. 3 active cards and a personal loan I've never seen. Opened 2 years ago. Mailed to my parents' address. Balances near their limits. Total, $60,000. He says the quiet part out loud. This isn't just family taking advantage. It's identity theft. The floor tilts, then writes. My mind assembles the image. Arthur's technical competence selectively applied. Eleanor's timing of illnesses. Not chaos. Strategy. Not obligation. Abuse. I'll need a financial crime attorney, I say. Martin Cohen, Mark replies. He's relentless. On the sidewalk, I breathe. My phone buzzes. Eleanor. The bank is calling. They're threatening foreclosure notices. Call me now. Chloe. Mom's having heart palpitations. Please just pay it. I'm scared. Arthur. Fix this. I stare at the screen. Shame used to live here, installed like malware. Now there's only clarity. I open my contacts and tap. Dr. Lillian Fisher picks up on the second ring. I can fit you in at noon, she says, like she's been expecting this version of me. I need a referral for a litigator, I tell her. Her voice is calm steel. You're not abandoning your family, Lydia. You're ending a siege. By late afternoon, I've booked Martin Cohen for tomorrow. I freeze the fraudulent accounts. I place fraud alerts. I start a folder. Evidence, screenshots, statements, voicemails, the text from Chloe, the totals from Mark. I add a photo I never intended to keep. Arthur at the restaurant, finger stabbing the air, face purpled with rage. At 7:14 p.m., my buzzer sounds. I check the building feed. Arthur is at the door, jabbing the button. My doorman, Hector, holds his ground. Sir, Miss Holloway has not authorized. You tell my daughter, Arthur snarls. This is a family emergency. Hector reaches for the phone. Then we're calling the police. 20 minutes later, a folded note slides under my door in handwriting that nearly tears the paper. You owe us. Fix this. Not I love you, not let's talk, not I'm sorry, just demand. I place it in evidence. My phone buzzes again. Daniel. At your door with soup. Text me if no. I type back, yes. When I open the door, he passes me the bag and doesn't ask to come in. I'm 2 floors down if you need actual words, he says. Otherwise, eat. Thank you, I say. I mean for the soup. I mean for the boundary. I mean for not making this about him. I reheat broth and sit on the floor with my back against the couch. I don't cry. I don't rage. I spoon soup and plan. Tomorrow, Martin. Next the meeting, but not at a restaurant and not on their terms. I text my mother a single message. 1 meeting. My lawyer's office. Tomorrow. 10 a.m. Her reply comes fast. Relief poured into punctuation. I put my phone face down. On my coffee table, the folder marked, "Evidence looks lighter than it should." Maybe that's what truth feels like when you finally stop carrying it alone. Morning slides in pale and honest, the kind of light that makes dust confess. I wake before my alarm, mind already itemizing. Coffee, shower, copies. I lay everything out on my kitchen table like instruments before surgery. Bank statements, screenshots, the folded note that says you owe us. Fix this. It looks small against the growing stack labeled evidence, like a final threat that arrived after the war already turned. On the walk to Martin Cohen's office, Manhattan feels like a court stenographer. Every footstep, every horn, every breath recorded. The building isn't wood-paneled power, it's fluorescent truth. The receptionist buzzes me in. Martin meets me at the threshold with a direct gaze and a handshake that says he understands two languages, facts and consequence. "Ms. Holloway," he says, guiding me to a conference room densely populated with files. "We work fast because predators depend on delay. Let's start." I open the folder and begin. Transfers for 5 years. $4,000 here, $2,500 there. Punctuated by panic-wired 5-figure rescues. Mortgage payments labeled temporary that somehow metastasized into ritual. Mark Wilson's master spreadsheet, color-coded like a crime scene, green for me, red for them, yellow for cash, withdrawals for groceries that somehow happened at jewelry stores. And this, I say, sliding the next pile across, is the part that makes me shake. Martin scans the credit report. 3 credit cards and a personal loan, opened 2 years ago, mailed to Arthur and Eleanor's address. Balances lapping at the edges of their limits. Total, $60,000 I never touched. He doesn't flinch. "We're calling it what it is, identity theft and financial abuse." He lifts his eyes, "But we're also calling it leverage." The word sits in the room like a new oxygen. He outlines steps with the precision of a surgeon. File the police report first. Non-negotiable for clearing my name. Freeze all 3 bureaus. Fraud alerts. Contact the lenders and flag the accounts. Preserve everything. Voicemails, texts, IP logs if we can get them. Screenshots with timestamps. The note. The video still of my father at my building screaming at the doorman. "Let them hang themselves in their own handwriting," he says gently, stacking the papers. "Can we do all that today?" I ask. "We'll start today. You'll keep going tonight. Momentum matters." We draft the report together. It is clinical and unsentimental, a language my parents do not speak. It says, on or about the dates listed, accounts were opened in my name and mailed to an address I did not authorize. Charges incurred without my knowledge, signatures not mine. It lists the card issuers, the account numbers, the balances that have been shadowing my credit like a stain. He calls a contact at the DA's office. "We want the option of probation in exchange for restitution," he says into the phone. "But we're filing either way." He hangs up and makes a copy of the draft. "One truth at a time," he tells me, sliding a pen forward. I sign. At noon, I sit in Dr. Lillian Fisher's office, a sanctuary of leather and softly ticking clocks. The city outside mutters about lunch and markets. In here, time listens. "I expected to cry," I tell her. "I don't want to. Is that bad?" "It's information," she says. "What does the absence of tears tell you?" "That I'm finally choosing myself," I say. The words feel like they've been practicing for months. She nods. "A boundary isn't a wall. It's a door with a lock you control." I talk about the spreadsheet and the credit report, the way felony changed the pitch of my breathing. I tell her about Daniel's soup and the space he left at my door so I could decide. She calls that healthy attachment, support that doesn't colonize. "Today," she says, "your parents will escalate. It's their only play. You've removed supply, money, access, guilt. Expect rage, then pleading, then sick day theater. Do not negotiate with tactics, only with terms." Terms, I repeat, filing the word next to leverage. Back at my apartment, I assemble a command center on the floor. Laptop, phone, legal pad, a stack of yellow highlighters like sunlight I can hold. I call the bureaus, place fraud alerts, request full files, authenticate in the sterile, unyielding way machines make you prove you are you. The hold music is cheery and cruel. Between calls, the messages arrive in waves. Eleanor. "After all I sacrificed, 9 months carrying you, The schools, the summers I gave up so you could study. Delete. Arthur, this is a family matter. You won't send your parents to jail over bookkeeping. Call me. Delete. Chloe, Mom says she can't breathe. Her Apple Watch flagged her heart rate. I'm at urgent care now. Please, Lydia. I stare at the text. A few months ago, that message would have started a transfer. The fact that it doesn't now doesn't make me colder. It makes me accurate. I document the message, take a screenshot with the date and time, and add it to evidence. Daniel, do you want me to come sit and say nothing? I'm excellent at silence that isn't empty. Me, not yet. Thank you. Momentum. I keep dialing. I keep logging. I file disputes, each one a small, clean act. I save confirmation numbers like gold. At 7:11 p.m., a tremor hits the building. My buzzer again. I do not move to the intercom. I open the security app instead. Arthur stands on the sidewalk, jaw clenched, finger jabbing the call button like a weapon that never reloads. Hector, unmovable as a boulder in a river, refuses entry. I record the interaction as if I'm watching a documentary about someone I used to know. My father finally leaves. 20 minutes later, the note slides under my door. You owe us. Fix this. The entitlement hums off the paper like heat. This time, I do not shake. I slip the note into a plastic sleeve and label the sleeve with today's date. At 9:02 p.m., Martin and I speak again. They're going to demand terms, he says. Give them a meeting, not at a restaurant. Here. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. We'll open with the police report, then we'll offer a way out. Probation if they agree to immediate restitution. $60,000, funded by listing the house. We'll control escrow, no wiggle room. They'll say they can't, I say. They can sign, he says, or they can be charged. We are not bluffing. When we hang up, I text my mother one line. One meeting, Martin Cohen's office, 10:03 a.m. Do not be late. I see the dots appear and disappear, her instinct to persuade suddenly trying on compliance. 10 seconds later, we'll be there pings on my screen with a little green checkmark that tastes like victory. I shower the day off and force myself to eat something that didn't arrive in a paper carton. I lay out a suit I like because it doesn't ask me to perform. Charcoal, clean lines, a jacket that sits on my shoulders like a decision. On my nightstand, I stack the essentials. ID, notebook, pen, lip balm, a small silver USB drive loaded with PDFs that make euphemisms obsolete. Sleep comes in brief paragraphs. In one, I'm 10 at the dining table as Eleanor assigns us our roles again, her smile like a charm. She believes works on physics. In another, I'm 24 on the phone in a hospital corridor that never ends. But then I'm now, 29, holding a folder named Evidence, walking through a door my parents cannot close. The sun is barely up when I wake for good. I make tea instead of coffee to spare my hands a tremor. I review my list as if it were a liturgy. Police report filed. Fraud alerts placed. Creditors contacted. Evidence organized, indexed, duplicated. Meeting confirmed. At 8:06 a.m., Daniel texts, Proud of you. I'll be off grid till noon, so you're not tempted to narrate. You don't owe anyone narration. I stare at that last sentence and feel something uncoil, permission I didn't know I needed. At 9:37 a.m., I arrive at Martin's building with 10 minutes to spare because I don't perform lateness either. The conference room is windowed and bright, the kind of light that doesn't flatter liars. Martin is already there, sleeves rolled, files aligned. He reviews our script one more time. We open with facts and finish with options, he says. If they try to make this about feelings, we pivot to documents. If they bluster, we let the silence work. If they beg, we hold the line. A laugh edges my breath. You make it sound like a weather report. It is, he says, not smiling. We're predicting a storm and giving them the only umbrella that exists. At 9:59 a.m., footsteps approach. A shadow passes the frosted glass. My heart rates up, steady but strong, not the wild animal it used to be. I straighten my jacket and place my hands flat on the table. I am not the family retirement plan. I am not the Holloway ATM. I am the owner of my name. The door opens. Arthur and Eleanor step into the conference room like royalty entering enemy territory. Arthur's jaw is set, his posture stiff, the starch of arrogance holding him upright. Eleanor follows half a step behind, pearls in place, her expression composed but trembling at the corners. She looks at me as though eye contact might still work like it used to, a currency she can spend to buy forgiveness. Martin rises, greets them with professional courtesy. Mr. and Mrs. Holloway, please take a seat. His tone makes it clear this is not a family reunion. It's a proceeding. Arthur wastes no time. Lydia, this little tantrum has gone on long enough, he says. We're willing to forgive the scene at Montrose, but you've embarrassed this family. We'll accept your apology, and we can move forward. Martin doesn't even blink. This meeting isn't about apologies, Mr. Holloway. It's about accountability. Arthur's head jerks toward him, unused to interruption. Excuse me? This is not a negotiation, Martin continues smoothly. We've already filed a police report with the NYPD regarding identity theft and fraud in Ms. Holloway's name. You will find copies in front of you. He slides 2 folders across the table. Eleanor's manicured hands hover midair, uncertain whether to reach for the file or deny its existence. Identity theft? She repeats, the words small and airless. Yes, Martin says, flipping open his own copy. 3 credit cards and 1 personal loan, opened 2 years ago, all mailed to your address in Westchester. We have verification from the lenders, timestamps from the IP addresses used for the applications, and documentation of the charges. Arthur's face goes red, then purple. This is absurd. You're accusing your own parents of crimes because what? You're angry we expected help? I speak for the first time. My voice is steady, almost detached. No, I'm angry because you stole from me. You didn't ask for help, you took it. Eleanor finally opens the file. Her eyes scan the pages, each line a mirror, reflecting what she's refused to see. Lydia, honey, these must be mistakes, she pleads. We'd never... Please, I interrupt quietly. Don't. She flinches. The word lands heavier than a shout. Martin's tone remains even. We're not here to debate evidence. We're here to present options. The district attorney is prepared to move forward with felony charges. However, Ms. Holloway has requested leniency in exchange for immediate restitution of $60,000, full payment. Arthur scoffs, sharp and bitter. We don't have $60,000 lying around. That's why, Martin says, sliding another document across, we've prepared a secondary agreement. You will list your 5-bedroom home for sale immediately. The escrow will ensure funds go directly to repay the fraudulent debt. The silence that follows could cut glass. Eleanor's face drains of color. Arthur's eyes flick toward me, searching for weakness, that familiar crack of guilt he's always exploited. He finds none. This is extortion, he says. This is law, Martin corrects. Arthur slams his fist on the table. The sound ricochets off glass. You'd ruin your family over paperwork? My hands stay folded in my lap. You ruined our family over entitlement. Eleanor's voice wobbles. After everything we've sacrificed for you, 9 months carrying you, the schools, the tutors. Martin doesn't let her finish. Mrs. Holloway, please understand that emotional appeals won't change the legal facts. She turns to me, eyes shining with desperation. Lydia, sweetheart, we just needed time. Your father's job situation, my health. I know, I say softly. Every time I questioned a transfer, you had a new crisis, but it wasn't my job to save you. Arthur's hand trembles on the table. For the first time, he looks old, not powerful, not commanding, just a man cornered by his own lies. Martin continues, sign the restitution agreement now, and the DA's office will treat this as a civil settlement. Refuse, and we proceed criminally. Arthur's eyes narrow. And what if we walk out? Then I submit this, Martin says, lifting the police report, and the DA issues a warrant within 48 hours. The clock ticks once, twice. Eleanor looks at Arthur. Arthur, please. His jaw flexes. Pride wars with self-preservation, but the outcome is inevitable. He snatches the pen from the table and scrawls his signature across the bottom of the page. The sound of it, the scratch of ink against paper, feels like a release. Eleanor signs next, her hand shaking. When the pen leaves the page, she looks at me with something raw in her eyes. How will we live? She whispers. I think of the 5 years I worked 60-hour weeks, the $350,000 funneled into their comfort, the panic that never belonged to me but was always mine to solve. That, I say, is not my problem anymore. The meeting ends quietly. Martin gathers the papers, efficient and calm. Arthur and Eleanor stand, their composure leaking away. They leave without looking back. When the door closes, I realize I've been holding my breath. Martin offers a small nod. It's done. You just reclaimed your life. Outside, the November air cuts cold and clean. The city sounds louder than usual, but also lighter. My phone vibrates. Daniel. Daniel, still standing? Me. Standing, breathing. Daniel. Good. Now keep doing both. For the first time in years, the sound of my own footsteps feels like freedom. That night, I go home to silence. No buzzing phone, no guilt-filled voicemails. I pour wine into a glass, open the balcony door, and let the city wind wash over me. Somewhere far uptown, my parents are facing the first consequence they can't buy their way out of. Julian calls later. You really did it, he says quietly. I had to, I answer. You know they'll never forgive you. I'm not asking for forgiveness, I tell him. I'm asking for peace. He hesitates. You have it now. I don't say it aloud, but I think he's right. The next morning, Martin emails confirmation. The sale listing for my parents' estate is live. By afternoon, it's already attracting attention. Within days, the whispers begin. Country club friends, bridge partners, the quiet crumble of reputation. Eleanor doesn't respond to texts. Arthur sends one last message. This isn't over. I delete it. It is. A week later, the official paperwork arrives. Sealed envelopes, notarized signatures, a clean trail from confession to consequence. Martin calls it closure in triplicate. I call it proof that they finally met a boundary they couldn't charm their way through. By Thursday morning, the Holloway estate hits the market. The once pristine colonial now lives on a real estate site, photographed by strangers, captioned by indifference. 5-bedroom, 4-bath home with custom marble kitchen, private pool, and recent upgrades. No mention of the ghosts that paid for it. At work, I stare at spreadsheets but see headlines only I can read. Parents list, home to repay, fraudulent debt. Family finances implode. I imagine Eleanor scrolling through comments, fingers trembling, Arthur pacing the study he's about to lose. Julian texts me a photo later that evening. The for sale sign staked in their yard. Just 3 words beneath it. They signed today. The relief that floods through me isn't triumph, it's release. 5 years of silent servitude finally evaporate into air I can breathe. That night, I meet Daniel for dinner. A small Thai place in Midtown where nobody knows my name. He doesn't ask about the case until dessert. How do you feel? He asks softly, as the candles flicker between us. I thought I'd feel guilty, I say, but all I feel is quiet. He nods. Quiet is good. Quiet means healing has somewhere to live. For the first time, I believe him. When I return home, a thick envelope waits outside my door. My name scrawled in Arthur's familiar, furious handwriting. Inside, a letter. No apology, just a demand. You will regret this. Blood is thicker than law. I stare at the words for a long time. Then I fold the letter once and slip it into the evidence folder. A relic, nothing more. The following week, Martin calls to confirm the sale closed. The $60,000 in restitution has been transferred. The fraudulent accounts marked paid in full. My credit score begins its slow resurrection. You did it, Martin says. No, I reply. I survived it. He chuckles quietly. Most people don't reach that clarity until years later. I hang up and sit in the stillness of my apartment. The quiet feels earned. A few days later, I get another message, this one from Julian. They've moved out, rented a small apartment near Yonkers. No staff, no clubs, no friends, just them. I read it twice, not out of pity, but to memorize the moment when their empire of manipulation finally collapsed under its own weight. Eleanor calls once. I let it go to voicemail. Her voice cracks between sobs. Lydia, we can't do this without you. Please, I'm begging. Delete. Then Arthur calls. You think you've won? He growls. You're nothing without us. I end the call mid-sentence. Silence is sharper than any retort. That weekend, I spend an afternoon with Julian and his wife Maya. Their apartment smells of basil and home. When Julian brings out an old photo album, I almost don't recognize the girl in the pictures. Me, smiling, oblivious, standing between the very people who taught me love was measured by utility. Maya closes the album gently. You look freer now, she says. I am, I answer. For the first time in years, I sleep through the night. No dreams of hospitals or mortgages or guilt, just dark, uninterrupted peace. The following Monday, I get an email from Martin's paralegal. Case closed. All settlements finalized. 3 simple words that end an era. Outside, the city feels different. The air sharper, the noise almost melodic. I buy myself flowers on the walk home, lilies, because they last longer than they look. When I set them on the counter, my phone buzzes. It's Daniel. Dinner on me tonight. No case talk, just normal life. I smile. Normal sounds dangerous, I reply. Then it's a risk worth taking, he texts back. I laugh. A small, unguarded sound that feels like sunlight breaking through after years of gray. That night, as I fall asleep, I realize something profound. I no longer wake up waiting for their approval. I wake up waiting for my own. Across town, my parents begin their new life without servants, without status, without me. Somewhere between the walls of that apartment, maybe they'll finally meet the truth. Control only lasts until someone refuses to obey. And I have finally, irrevocably, refused. 3 months pass. Winter peels back into early spring, and Manhattan begins to thaw, its skyline glinting like forgiveness I never asked for. My mornings have rhythm again. Coffee instead of panic. Silence instead of demands. I take the subway without my phone vibrating itself to death. I answer only to myself. When the escrow company emails the final statement, I open it slowly, savoring the moment. Restitution, completed. Case, closed. Credit restored. I read the words twice before printing them, sliding the page into my evidence folder, now renamed Closure. Julian calls that night. Mom and Dad finally sold the last of their jewelry, he says quietly. They're living in a 2-bedroom walk-up near Riverdale. No doorman, no club memberships, no one left to impress. I lean against the window, watching the city shimmer below. How are they handling it? Badly, he admits, but maybe that's good. We talk for an hour, the longest we've ever spoken without tension, and for once, I don't feel like I'm betraying anyone. I'm just a sister. Nothing more, nothing less. A few weeks later, I sign the lease on my new place, a 2-bedroom condo overlooking Central Park. Hardwood floors, sunlight that spills across the living room like blessing. The down payment? The exact $60,000 that came back to me. Justice with a skyline view. Moving day feels surreal. Daniel shows up with boxes and Thai takeout. I come bearing carbs and manual labor. He jokes. Perfect, I say. We unpack in companionable silence. He places my plants near the windows. I hang one framed photo of my younger self, smiling at a school science fair, long before expectations became chains. That night, I sit on the balcony with a glass of wine, the park stretching below like an emerald heartbeat. The city hums, alive and endless. When the doorbell rings, it's Julian and Maya, arms full of groceries. We're cooking, Maya announces. No arguments. Wouldn't dream of it. As the night deepens, laughter fills my kitchen, a sound I never thought would belong to me again. My therapist arrives later, bringing homemade bread. Mark Wilson drops by with his wife, both admiring the view. Daniel leans against the counter, eyes warm, and for the first time, the word family doesn't taste like manipulation. It tastes like peace. At 8:15, the doorbell rings again. When I open it, Chloe stands there, clutching a paper bag. Her perfect hair is gone, replaced by a simple ponytail. She looks real. Hi, she says, voice trembling. I'm in therapy now, working at a coffee shop. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. She holds out the bag. Inside is a bottle of wine with the price tag still attached. $15. The irony isn't lost on me. 15,000 once tore us apart. 15 buys her a chance to start over. Thank you, I say softly, stepping aside. Come in. It's not forgiveness. It's not surrender. It's a door, half open, on my terms. Later, when the party winds down, I step back onto the balcony. Below, the park glows gold beneath the streetlights. Behind me, laughter floats from the kitchen. Julian telling a story that makes everyone double over. Chloe smiling shyly at Maya. Daniel topping off glasses. I take a deep breath, the kind that fills every corner of my lungs. For 29 years, I lived as someone's provider, someone's investment, someone's scapegoat. Tonight, I am simply Lydia. My phone buzzes once more, a new email. From Lydia Holloway. I don't open it. I delete it without reading. The stars above the city are faint, but they're there, steady, persistent, unbothered by distance. I sip my wine and watch them flicker, each one a reminder that light doesn't need permission to exist. Tomorrow, I'll wake up in a home that's truly mine. I'll make coffee, I'll open the windows, and I'll breathe freely, because for the first time in my life, I am not their daughter. I am my own.